Hello, it's another weekly wrap up for Health Declassified, and this is for the week ending the 25th of April. A third of the year gone.
No.
Anyway, let's welcome Kathleen. Kathleen, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Peter, and thank you all so very much for tuning in. We so appreciate having you. And Peter, shall I just dive right into our
All right, go straight in for it.
tip of the day or info of the day? And today I want to talk
Hmm.
about menopause and the influence of estrogen dominance. And this is an article from Mercola, which we will provide the full link to below this video so that you can have a complete read. It's a very long article, but so packed full of information. But here are some of the highlights. So many associate menopause with low estrogen. So conventional medicine actually explains the classic symptoms of, the hot flashes, insomnia, the mood swings with lost estrogen, thereby prescribing hormone replacement therapy, or better known as just HRT. However, studies are now revealing surprisingly high levels of estrogen in the tissues, even though the blood levels indicate otherwise. So that's quite surprising, right? So, menopause, they say, should not be seen as an estrogen deficit state. Hormonal balance isn't just about the quantity of individual hormones, but about the ratios to one another. In the case of female
Hmm.
hormones, the progesterone to estrogen ratio is a key indicator of endocrine health. So, why is estrogen so important? Estrogen is involved in maintaining glucose and lipid balance, supporting a robust immune system, ensuring bone strength, promoting cardiovascular health, and facilitating healthy brain function. However,
Ah.
the very same estrogen is also implicated in numerous diseases, ranging from infections and autoimmune disorders to metabolic disturbances and even degenerative conditions. Increased exposure to inflammatory agents and endocrine disrupting chemicals in your daily environment actually increase the estrogen levels or mimic estrogen effects, leading to estrogen dominance. And FYI, Peter, this is why I stay away from soy, right? Because
Hmm.
that is something that mimics estrogen. Furthermore, they say rising rates of conditions like polycystic ovarian syndrome, infertility, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and breast tissue in males is an indication
Mm.
estrogen levels are becoming increasingly imbalanced in the population. So here are some
Wow.
concrete steps that you can take right now to naturally support healthy estrogen levels and counter estrogen dominance. So they say uh, uh, eliminate seed oils in your diet. Become
Hmm.
conscious consumer of everyday products. So choose natural and organic personal care products. Scrutinize labels for parabens and phthalates. Reconsider estrogen-based therapies and contraceptives, and
Hmm.
consider natural progesterone to counter the estrogen. So there you go, Peter.
Interesting.
Very
I
valuable.
remember, I remember, yeah, I remember reading years ago
Mhm.
where in one of the pharmaceutical companies, I think it was in England or Europe, I don't think it was in North America, where they had men working in the production line for contraceptive pills, right? And these men started developing full-size breasts, female breasts, and they at
Wow.
first they couldn't work it out, and then they came to the conclusion that there was enough estrogen floating around from in the atmosphere in this facility from the pills to have that effect on the men,
You're
right?
kidding.
So
Oh
that
my gosh. I
honestly,
would
no,
never
I
heard
it
that.
is years ago. I read it years ago, and it said it was well documented, and they fixed that one by putting better air filtration systems and improving their production facilities. But it wasn't just one man; it was quite a number of men that worked in that facility. All started developing breast. Yeah,
Well, I had no idea. I'd never heard that
yeah,
story before, but you know what?
yeah.
It
I
makes sense.
definitely read that. So
Mhm.
there's one thing that surprised me there. It said estrogen can cause too much estrogen can cause infertility. infertility, right?
Hmm.
By definition, women who've gone through menopause or going through menopause are no longer fertile, right? So is that trying to say that too much estrogen from other sources could cause infertility in younger women? Is that what it's getting at?
I think, Peter, the whole point is the imbalance.
Okay,
As I
okay, yeah,
mentioned, the importance of it's not just having one hormone that's out of whack, it's having them the ratio relative to one
right,
another that is important.
okay,
Yeah.
got it, got it. Okay, now I'm with you. Good. Now, what are we going to talk about for our health tip? What should people be taking care of at this time of year, Kathleen?
Well, Peter, I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. The importance of cleaning out your body. We do spring cleaning in our houses. Why not spring clean your body as well? And this is where I would
Right.
like to give a little plug for Dr. Morse's wonderful products. He does have detox kits, so he makes it very simple for you. So you can purchase the kit on a monthly basis and just go through. They come in forms of supplements, tinctures that are mild that you just put in a little bit of water and just take it back that way. Very important to clean the gut. So the GI broom is another one. It's just, we're going to provide a link to the detox kits for Dr. Morse below this video. Have a look because it's so important just to keep your whole body on track, and now is a perfect time to do it.
Yeah, that's right. Well done, Kathleen. Good one. Quick snippet on health that I picked up, something quite different, in fact, but I found it intriguing. It's an article, I think it was on Epoch Health. I'll find the link and put it in the newsletter. And it said that if you are doing a lot of walking and a lot of running and you wear highly cushioned shoes, you may be damaging your feet in ways you wouldn't previously have believed.
What?
And they've done a number of studies, and they said naturally we have cushions of fat in our feet that help cushion impact, right?
Right.
But what they find, but most people are not used to walking on hard surfaces, so
Mhm.
why we wear shoes. When there's nothing wrong with that, but they said if you wear running shoes with too much cushioning in, it affects the way your foot hits the ground, and it affects the way the small muscles in your foot operate. And it said, well, what they've noticed is atrophy of toe muscles in people who walk long distances or run in very highly cushioned shoes. And
Oh,
they're recommending that unless you have a specific injury, you should wear shoes that are only lightly cushioned or almost barefoot shoes.
interesting.
Intriguing.
Okay. So
Mm,
what cause like what can happen if you wear too like cushioned shoes for an extended period of time? What would happen?
your muscles in your foot lose strength because they're no longer absorbing the impact, right?
Okay.
And what tends to happen, they said you particularly get damage to the ankle and the heel because when you can't feel the hard impact with your heel, you tend to land more on your heel than on your flat foot or your forefoot.
I see. Oh,
So
interesting.
normally you land with your heel first, but only a fraction of a second before the weight comes onto your forefoot. So the impact is not too bad. But with cushioning, because you can't feel that impact, you tend to land heavier on your heels. It's more complicated than that. But I found it very interesting that they're recommending cut down on the cushioning unless you need it for a specific medical condition like fallen arches or and there's a few others that they mentioned. So I found that quite intriguing,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that.
Anyway, let's tell you what happened on Health Declassified this week. Well, we didn't have a guest interview because we had one last week. Last week we had Dr. Carol Rems on the show. She was our guest. She's a fascinating lady, and she has written a book called The Best Sex Ever After Menopause. And she had a whole lot of tips and ideas to help women, particularly, enjoy a sexual activity way past menopause when traditionally people thought that was it. There was no more enjoyment in that area of life. So it's quite a fascinating episode to listen to or to watch. Who's coming up on the 29th of April? Caroline Farquhar, who is an expert on supplements, and she's a nutritional expert. and she will be on the show. And one of her secrets is she recommends 5 supplements that you should definitely take. And you need to watch or listen to that episode to find out what those 5 are. It's a combination of vitamins and minerals. 2 weeks after that, on the 13th of May, we'll have Ethan Pompeo, and he's a very interesting guy. He has a condition called PANDAS, quite a rare condition. Gave him a lot of trouble when he was young, and one of the ways he solved or overcame the difficulties of that is through CBD, which is a derivative of cannabis. We've had someone on the show a little while back talking about CBD. So that's coming up on the 13th of May. And I've got to tell you about a book. And of course, having had an author on the show last week, we are featuring her book again. So it's Dr. Carol Rems's book, Best Sex Ever After Menopause. And there'll be a link to that in the description. And that's it for me, apart from the fact that we have many, many interesting guests coming along. And to make sure you don't miss them, hop onto the website, healthdeclassified.com. Sign up for our newsletter. We just send you 1 email a week and tell you who's on this week or next week and who's coming in the future. Thanks for listening. Back to you, Kathleen.
Until next week, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.